She edited my work presentation with insults before my big meeting. I recovered, got promoted, and then left her. She edited my work presentation with insults before my big meeting. I recovered, got promoted, and then left her. I'm Keisha, 32, and trust me, this shit still messes with my head every time I say it. I remember that Tuesday morning clear as day. I pulled up to Titan Office Solutions around 8 a.m., looking halfway put together in my black Titan polo and slacks. My girl, Chantel, and I lived in a 2-bedroom starter home in the projects on East Oak Street with her cousin Marcus, splitting rent because bills always stretched us thin. We shared that clapped-out '08 Toyota Camry, me driving twice a week, her the other times, all to save gas money. I braided hair on Saturdays for extra cash, she did DoorDash on weekend nights. We hustled just so we could keep that place and pay utilities. I'd been working nonstop on a PowerPoint pitch for our new potential client, Northside Community Bank. If I landed this, I'd get bumped from supervisor to manager of client relations, pushing me up to manager level, which meant extra zeros on my check. I was thinking about how I'd use that money, finally fix up this starter home, get a little savings cushion, maybe give my nephew Malik, who sometimes stayed with us, a room of his own. I was feeling pretty damn good. By 9:45, I was in the break room with Shannon, our regional director. She's tight with upper management, so her nod of approval meant everything. She plugged my thumb drive into her laptop and clicked through my slides. "This is tight," she said. "Don't slip up on Pendleton or the compliance slide." I said, "Got you." And I felt like I really had it handled. At noon, I hit the bodega 2 blocks away for a turkey sandwich, bumping into coworkers, Darius from accounting, Alana from HR. They all asked if I was nervous. I shrugged, said, "I'm cool." But inside, my stomach was doing flips. I rushed back to the shop, changed into my Titan blazer over my polo, and slipped on my black pumps that always killed my feet by the end of the day. I plugged my laptop into my station and glanced at my deck one last time. Clean template, bank logos, numbers all lined up. I zipped it to my thumb drive. I thought about sending it to Chantel to proof one last time, but I was running late for my final run-through with a coworker at 1:30. He and I practiced in the hallway near the break room. Slide 1, Community Reach. Slide 2, Cost Analysis. Everything flowed. I texted, "T-checks, bro," then spotted a Facebook notification. My high school friend hyped me up. "You're gonna kill it!" I double-tapped the heart and felt a surge of confidence. At 1:45, Shannon said, "Meet me in the conference room at 2. My heart thundered as I grabbed my purse, thumb drive inside, and headed down the fluorescent-lit hallway. The conference room smelled like stale coffee and sanitizer. Inside, Mr. B, the head of client services, was already there. He nodded at me. "Ready, Keisha?" I said. "Yes, sir." I put the thumb drive in and clicked. "Open presentation." That's when everything went sideways. The first slide popped up. Proposal for Northside Community Bank. All good, until I noticed tiny text at the bottom. Slide 1, Keisha Elliott is a broke-ass bitch, no cap. My chest froze. I blinked, thought it was a fluke, but the next slide read. Slide 2, she don't know shit about banking, laugh at her. My stomach twisted into knots. My ears popped. Everyone in that room froze. Shannon's eyes widened, Mr. B's brow creased. I felt like someone punched me in my gut. My first thought was, this can't be real. My mind raced. How did this happen? Chantel edited my deck? I tried to stay calm as the interns laughed softly, whispering, she must be crazy. I smiled through the panic, hands trembling. Mr. B asked, is that supposed to be there? I forced a laugh, said, no, let me fix it. I closed PowerPoint, wiped the sweat off my brow, and reopened, same thing. The footers on every slide had her jabs. She fucks up numbers, funny, check out her belly jiggle when she nervously laughs. I felt like the whole world was watching. I told Mr. B, I need a minute, and ran out. I sprinted down the hallway, blazer half off, shoes clicking on tile, until I burst into the women's bathroom. I locked myself in a stall, slid down the wall, and covered my face. Tears burned my eyes. My hands shook so bad I could barely breathe. I thought, damn, why I trusted her so much. Why didn't I check that deck? I remembered how she'd been extra sweet the last 2 nights, hanging around my laptop, watching me work. I should have known something was up. I pounded the cold tile wall, whispering, fuck, fuck, fuck. I thought about quitting on the spot, dashing out of Titan forever. But then I remembered I saved an older version of the deck in my work email. Not perfect, but salvageable. So I pulled out my phone, logged into my email, and downloaded the previous file. My fingers trembled as I copied it onto a spare thumb drive I'd left in my purse. I thought, you can do this. Just breathe. By the time I washed my face and patched my makeup with a swipe of lipstick, I calmed down enough to go back out. Shannon was waiting for me outside. She looked at me, concern and confusion in her eyes. We startin' in 5, she said. I nodded, squeezed my jaw, and said, yeah, I'm good. She eyed me like she wanted to ask what happened, but didn't. I slipped my second thumb drive under her nose and mouthed, this one. She plugged it in, checked the last slide, and nodded. All right. Let's do this. I walked into that conference room with my heart pounding like crazy. There were 5 bank reps in suits, Mr. B, Shannon, and half the Titan team, like 13 folks. I set my laptop on the podium, took a breath, and said, good afternoon. I'm Keisha Elliott, Senior Coordinator of Client Services at Titan. My voice wavered for a sec, but then I caught Mr. B's eye and he gave me a little nod. I clicked the clicker. Slide 1 popped up clean. My nerves calmed as I began. We appreciate your time. Titan's approach ensures all your print materials align with brand standards while controlling costs. I pointed to charts, explained service scopes, and felt myself find a rhythm. I saw the bank's VP scribble notes. On the cost analysis slide, I said, bundling all branches under one contract saves you about 15%. He leaned forward, nodding. I felt fire in my chest. By the compliance slide, I took a gulp of water and said, Titan's ISO certification means any sensitive data is handled under SOC 2 protocols. Your security is guaranteed. One bank rep whispered to another, and they both nodded. I felt unstoppable. Finally, on the last slide, next steps and contract terms, I said, thank you. I welcome any questions. Silence hung for a beat, then the bank VP cleared his throat. Ms. Elliott, that was thorough. No typos, no missing info. We're inclined to move forward. My knees almost buckled. I managed a thank you, closed the deck, and stepped down. Folks broke into applause. I felt my face burning, heart pounding, but tears threatened. Darius from accounting whistled low. Damn, Keisha, you killed it! Shannon patted my shoulder. I knew you could do it. I couldn't speak. I was still digesting it all. They took me to lunch at Carl's Deli, roast beef sandwiches, sweet tea, and a surprise visit from the CEO. They told me I was promoted to manager of client relations right then. My head spun. I hugged Mr. B, and he whispered, well deserved. I texted Chantel. I did it. I got the account and the promotion. But my phone stayed silent. No read, no reply. A knot grew in my chest. That night, I headed to Red's bar on Greenwood. Dion was there already, nursing his Hennessy and water in a plastic cup, pool tables empty, neon Bud Light sign buzzin'. I dropped in, trying to feel the high of the day. He handed me a cup. Yo, congrats, girl. I took a sip, feeling the burn. Thanks, I said, voice shaky. He asked, you gonna leave her? I froze, looked at him, and said, damn right I am. He nodded. She did you dirty. I nodded back and stared at my ice melting. Pulling up to the starter home on East Oak around 8 p.m., I noticed the porch light was off. I walked in, put my keys down, and the house was quiet, our bills scattered on the dining table, my old laptop open on the counter. I poured a drink, the ice clinking, and sat on our couch, staring at the TV flickering. I thought about all the times we argued in this very spot, me yelling about her not getting hours from DoorDash, her yelling because I cheated on her with Amber from the Westwood Hotel. I remembered that fight the night before the big pitch, her crying me lean, her showing me my screenshots, me passing out drunk. I realized I never checked the deck because I trusted her too much. I remembered her smirk late at night when she was coming home from a run, eyes ringed, she knew I didn't suspect a thing. She walked in around 10, tired, hair messy, eyes red. No hey or congrats. Just, I heard you got promoted. I handed her a clean USB. She plugged it in and flipped through the slides. This is the one you meant to show? I nodded. She said, You saw what I did. Her voice was flat. I said, Yeah. You almost got me fired. She crossed her arms and said, You cheated on me. I felt stupid. I shrugged. You embarrassed me. I recovered. She threw her keys on the table and said, You don't appreciate me. I said, Mind your mouth. She screamed, Fuck you, and chucked a glass at the wall. I felt anger bubble, looked at the cracked drywall, and knew I couldn't stay. That night, I packed a bag, clothes, my laptop, old textbooks I stored for courses I wanted to take. I texted, I'm leaving, with my phone on silent. She tried to block the door, tears rolling, but I pushed past. I got in the Camry, bounced off that driveway, tires screeching. I didn't look back. For 2 weeks, I crashed on my aunt's sofa on West 21st. I felt free but hollow. Bills piled up at my starter home, but I didn't care. I moved into a one-bedroom in a rehab building near the community center. Rent was $950. I was now making manager money, enough to stay afloat. I braided hair on weekends still, but mostly I focused on work. At Titan they treated me like a queen. I got my own office with a window overlooking the street, new responsibilities, training hires, coordinating bigger clients. But I felt alone. People asked, Where's Chantel? I'd shrug. Taking a break. They believed me. I didn't correct them. My phone stayed quiet from her, but one Monday morning, I saw a voicemail from Chantel. Keisha, it's me. I'm sorry. Call me. I deleted it. Then a text. Please, I miss you. I blocked her again. Never gonna talk to her, I told myself. Sometimes I caught myself reaching for my phone to text her back, but I stopped. My new hustle kicked in. We got that bank contract, and Titan started printing for 20 branches. I handled the schedules, ordered paper, and made sure machines didn't jam. I got raises, a bonus that paid off the Camry. I bought a new Galaxy S21 with my bonus, and a MacBook Pro because Toro Solutions gave me a work laptop budget. I felt myself rising. In March, Titan held a company retreat. They had me speak about next quarter's targets. I strutted on stage in my new black blazer, slides looking clean. I talked about revenue goals, client retention, and saw every eye in the room on me. After they clapped, and Dre, my new fling, a dude in a local R&B band, gave me a high five from the front row. I felt invincible. I posted a pic, me at the podium. #bossbitch. That same day, I got a DM from Chantel's old Instagram. Congrats on your speech. Bet you forgot who made you. I screenshot and sent to Dion. Crazy bitch. I blocked her again. That was the last I heard from her. I started seeing Dre more. He was smooth, funny. We vibed at house parties on Maple, went to movies, late night eats at the taco truck by the corner bodega. We kept it low-key. I'd leave my phone at home sometimes, just to enjoy not thinking about her. One afternoon, I got an email from a recruiter at Jumpstart Media in Chicago. Account director position, $65K base. I clicked, updated my resume, and shot it off. A week later, they flew me to Chicago. I stayed at my aunt's condo, walked Michigan Avenue, Felt that cold wind off Lake Michigan, but I felt hot inside, like I was stepping into a new world. The interview flew by. They said they loved my drive. I took selfies in front of the Willis Tower and posted. Next stop, Big City Dreams. Days later, they offered me the job. $65K base plus benefits. I bit my lip, did the math. I could pay off the Camry, maybe move to a nicer place. I called Dre. I got the offer. He said. Damn, baby, you lit. I said. I gotta think. He said. You do you. I felt proud but conflicted. I loved Titan, but Chicago was a real opportunity. I told Mr. B and Shannon I was resigning. They stared like I was crazy. I handed in my notice. 2 weeks later, they threw me a farewell lunch: burgers, mac and cheese, potato salad. They all hugged me. You'll kill it out there. I felt tears prick my eyes. I walked out that day with a copy of my farewell card in my purse and drove to the starter home. I packed the last of my things: photos of me and Chantel from Christmas, my first paycheck frame, office awards. On the walls, boxes stacked, half empty. I looked around. All our memories, good and bad, were in these walls. I thought, I'm done with this. The next morning, I loaded my Camry trunk with boxes, climbed in, and headed north on I-75 before dawn. I texted Dre. Leaving around 7. Miss you already? He said. I'll be here. I cranked up my old Destiny's Child CD. Say my name. And sang along, because I felt both free and terrified. I peeled out of the neighborhood that raised me, the corner bodega where I bought my first pack of smokes, Mrs. Jackson's chicken and waffles on Sundays, all of it. I never looked back. I settled into a studio in Bronzeville for $1,100 a month, way pricier, but I was earning more. I sold my Camry for $5,000 to a kid who needed a ride. Now I took Lyft, which felt strange but saved on maintenance. Weekends I found black-owned coffee shops, Takarius, poetry open mics. I posted pics. New home, new hustle. And felt like I was finally in control of my life. Some days I still felt a twitch in my chest as my phone lay silent. I wondered, is she okay? But then I remembered how she tried to bury me with those insults. I told myself, this is why I left, can't trust no one like that. That story kept me moving. A year later, I sent my nephew Malik a check for his birthday, helped him with books for middle school. I remembered how he stayed with me sometimes, how I'd braid his hair and tell him, keep your head up, baby. I realized I had built something for him too, a better life by leaving her behind. And that's my story. She edited my work presentation with insults before my big meeting. I recovered, got promoted, and then left her. From that humiliating moment in the conference room, to rising at Titan, to leaving for Chicago, no cap, it's as real as it gets. I ain't perfect, but I survived. I still don't forgive her, and I probably never will. But I moved on, bigger, better, and not looking back.